Hiya, buddies. Welcome to the Wednesday version of Barn Burner. We are ready to get into it. We got a big one today. Yeah, we got a big one today. We're a presentation of Bet365. Want to get in the action for the Stanley Cup playoffs? Super easy. Just download the app, get in the game. Official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older. Whatever your bet is. It's never ordinary at Bet365. And then, of course, in addition, we've got the super chat every day on the program. If you put down a little money in the YouTube chat, we'll take the money, get it to the Youth Centers of Calgary, and then put your comment on the show. You know, if it's not too vulgar, might be some vulgar folk.
We don't want that. We don't need that. Keep it clean.
Some vulgarity. How we doing, men? How we doing?
I had vulgarity last night at about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We're watching a TV screen, and it was
a little earlier.
It was kind of pissing me off, so I
let
a few fly.
Yeah. What's happened? What's going on? What do you see?
It's a reversal of fortune out there. It seems like one series.
So what happened is you gave a club a great opportunity to do something, and then they went and blew it, and now it's over.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Yeah.
You had empty netters. You had bad challenges. Now your pet's heads are falling off.
Yeah, it's it seems like it's a bad coach's challenge, but it's
early in the
no series left.
No, you had your foot on the throat. You didn't stomp.
You fucked up, is what you did.
You done fucked
up.
So. You did. You really did. And now you did so many good things up until that point. And
real tough team to beat.
I'd say you had about 8 good periods there, maybe 9 or 10 even, but 8 in a row. You were clearly the better team,
and none since.
How split?
Like none since.
Oh God, no. Yeah, no.
It really has been. It's kind of look. There's lots of hockey things happen, but man, if you want to just take the 100-foot view or whatever, that really kind of changed things. Things have not really been the same.
I'll throw one more. Byfield not getting it out is also as critical
empty as nets, not getting pucks out, bad challenges.
The empty nets.
All it does is it changes game 1 and 3 for me.
Right. I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but I really do believe that the empty net goal, we don't put enough emphasis or focus or importance on it because it really does. It's our opening statements for McLeod Law. Shane King, Litigator of the Year, partner in the Litigation Dispute Resolution Group. When he's around, just, you know what it is? Everything just is smooth. There's no disagreements. There's no differing of opinion. That's what he does all the time. Even when he's not at work, he's just kind of, hey, are you guys getting along? Is everything good? You guys are all right? Because I can't have disputes going on. I won't stand for it.
He's a smoother over, Dean. That's what he is.
He really is. Yeah, he is. McLeod-law.com. Great folks, great to the community, and the best at what they do as we get into the opening statements today. Yes, the Oilers beat the LA Kings by a score of 3-1. That is where we start today. Yeah, you guys talking about the who? Yeah, all right, fair enough. But it's compelling. The Oilers have won all 3 games in comeback fashion. They have outscored the Kings 13-5 in third periods, including 8-0 over the last 3 games, all of them. Oiler wins.
Those stats support a third period thing. Last night was not a third period.
Last night looked like the whole game was a third period.
It was a shit kicking.
Yeah.
It was good. I like to see that Kemper was good. I enjoyed that.
Could have used some of those saves.
You love Saskatoon guys. You love those guys. Great kid. It looks like they might be in the Kings' kitchen a little bit.
A little? I don't know. There's a team down 3-2 that you feel worse for right now about their chances of winning. Yeah. Even the Leafs with all their history.
Well, they just
I don't think it's close.
3 in a row and in horrible fashion, all of them. Up. Terrible coaching decision. Piss it away.
Yeah.
Up.
Simple mistakes.
Stop playing hockey in the third period. Somehow that's about when Edmonton started to get right, is when you absolutely stopped trying to win and just wanted to hold on for that. Still had the chance to win. Major mistake by a young centerman not getting the puck out. F it up. And last night, just snot bubbled.
It was the first game of the series where the Oilers were the better team in 2 of the first 3 periods. In fact, they were the better team all 3.
All 3.
Every other game, the Kings, you could argue, were the better team for at least 2 of the 3 periods. Overtime, obviously, was an Oiler period in game 4, excuse me. But the point is clearly that you had your chance to put this team down. You missed it, and now you're cooked. You could have swept or been up 3-1 with some very, very simple tweaks. And that's not to say that there isn't luck and bounces both ways. I mean, Kempe goes 5-hole last night. It misses the net. Kane's puck bounces will go both ways all series. But they were the better team last night, and they deserved to win that last night. And that's why it stings that you pissed away 3 and 4 so badly.
Yeah, that I still go back, I guess, whatever it was, 2 games ago when they had that 3-1 lead. And we didn't talk a whole lot about it, but you could really see the frustration kind of setting in. You saw McDavid kind of, shaking his hands, palms to the sky. It's like, yeah, this is going to be a 3-0 deficit here. But they really, you got to give it. Look, you give them credit. It's one thing to open the door and make some mistakes. The Oilers took what was given and absolutely capitalized. They've been opportunistic on pretty much every opportunity that they've been given. But they, the Kings, this is. I was wondering what because we didn't talk before we came on. I was wondering what your vibe was or what your feel was, because I feel the same way. I just feel like they're cooked.
That series is every other series going. I like the chances of the underdog better.
Going back into that pit of vipers up there.
Sweat Hog Central. Yeah.
I mean,
good luck.
Yeah, it's done.
Done. And this isn't new. Like, we literally came in after game 1, a game where the Kings won. It's like, did you guys learn your lesson? Because do you see what happens when you give them an inch? Just an inch. You miss an empty net from their side of half to make it 6-3. At that point, they would put their goalie back in and you coast. Instead, you miss that empty net. Now they tie it. You're flipping out and you get a lucky bounce to win game 1. Like, did you learn your lesson? If you ever get this close again, do not take for granted a simple little play at the end of the game. And then 3 and 4, we see it again. See ya.
I like we can just dial it back to the coach and be like, so tell me about that challenge again. That was a week ago. That was Friday. What are we talking? Well,
when he goes in for his year-end meeting, what do you think Blake and Robitaille and are going to be saying?
They did enough right to be in control of this series and possibly even have it over by now, and they're probably going to lose in 6. So that's going to be a really tough offseason for the Kings, who made a lot of strides this year. But when it mattered, did they make any strides, or are they still not as good as the Oilers in a best of 7?
They're still not as good because they're going to lose.
Correct. So there's going to be some sleepless nights, I'd expect.
What do you make of because I don't know that it's had a whole lot to do with it, but another thing that's happened is the Oilers made a goaltending change, and it hasn't bit them, right?
No.
That also felt like another thing. In addition to the series deficit, going to Pickard.
Catch yourself, though. Like, yes, Pickard's in, and I apologize for interrupting you, but if they lose game 3 or 4, who's back in? Skinner.
Doesn't really matter.
It's not Pickard that's helped the Oilers. It's the Kings effing it up.
It just felt like another thing that was in the Kings' favor.
Oh, for sure. The goaltending's not good.
2 games in, they're having to go to their backup. Their backup is kind of a backup in the NHL.
I think their backup's been their better goalie the second half of the year. I didn't think there was a huge gap there. Like, they've quite liked Pickard in the second half.
They're both not good goaltenders, and the Kings haven't. And Pickard in game 1 and up in Edmonton, he didn't look like there were posts where guys were beating him clean off rushes. Like, come on. The Kings have not done what they need to do to put this away.
If you want to play the what if game, and again, the Oilers can play this game too, but if you want to do it for the Kings, it's empty nets in game 1. It's the coaches challenging the posts in game
1
3.
Doesn't matter because you won game 1.
No, but it gave a little momentum to yes, you were up 3 or 4-0, but the Oilers came back and tied you.
Yeah, it was another shitting of the pants.
A little bit of you shot your pants, but you got away with it. If you want to play the what if game, this could be a sweep quite easily. Now, the Oilers can play the what-if game and, but again, empty nets, posts, Fiala could have won game 3, bad coaches challenge, game 4, I should say, for Fiala. Like, this could have been a really, really, franchise-altering sweep here. It's not. They're going to lose.
Jim Hiller could be in trouble here, right?
Define trouble. Like, I don't think he's going to lose his job, but I think there's going to be some serious conversations.
Because it's been a good season, but this has been.
We still are casual observers of the series, no matter, like, we watch it and we get passionate, but we're still casual. They're gonna have to do a deep dive. The call is one thing, absolute mistake. Who made the call? Who made it? Right, Merrick yesterday, he was adamant that it would be Hiller. Okay, well, if that's the case, then he should have to answer for that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is Byfield not getting it out. Well, that's not but what they did do, and I would think that this goes back to the head coach, is completely rein in any type of forecheck when they had hemmed in the Oilers for periods.
They
absolutely 100% stopped doing it. Now, if Byfield gets the puck out and they win game 4, that doesn't matter. But there was such a obvious, we're not going to go out. We are sitting back and not attempting anything offensively for a whole period, that I feel like that is a coaching thing where it's like.
And then he was asked about it and he didn't back down at all. He like chortled at the idea of adjusting his plan. It's like, dude, you've choked 3 third period leads that are significant. Like,
Pickard's
you don't want to reevaluate
the
here?
Oilers D is no good. You've got them on the ropes and you're going to sit back so far. Like, literally,
while you shorten your bench
and not cross the red line and accept rushes from some of the best players that have ever played the game.
Yeah. When you look at the best periods they had, it was all a result of that forecheck. And when you sit back, guess what you're not doing?
And who has the puck when you sit? Like,
it's just
the best players in the world. 5 minutes left in the game. Okay. 15 minutes left in the third, and you're not even attempting. You've got possession of the puck in the offensive zone, and you chip it low and hightail it out.
It's the Atlanta Falcons up 28-3 against New England. Like, it's just, you had them right where you want. Run the ball, you win the Super Bowl. Nope, you didn't. And there comes Tom Brady. You gave Tom Brady and Bill Belichick life. That's what the Kings did. You've given McDavid and Draisaitl life. You had them, and you breathed some air into their lungs, and now you're dead.
Tough vibes today. I kind of figured this is how it was going to be, but
I don't even like the fact that I get this upset that the Oilers are winning. Like, we were talking about before. I'm like, I don't get this excited if the Flames win.
God, no.
Like,
I know.
I'm not doing cartwheels and right.
It's the stupid lottery balls. If McDavid goes to any other team in the world, this is fine. But it was the one bumbling, stumbling, worst run team in hockey. And that it's just the most unlikable franchise in the league ever since. It's like, how could these asshats, these losers, these incompetent fools get the best player we'll ever watch in our lives? They already had Gretzky. How?
We'll pivot.
Good idea.
Move on. Yeah.
So,
we'll talk about another. Well, it was I don't know what we're seeing with the Leafs. We'll talk about that with Noodles, as we believe Noodles are coming on today, right? Wednesday.
What I saw there, though, I don't mind.
We have one series already over.
What?
Oh, we got a staving last night. Didn't go well.
No staving for the New Jersey Devils.
They were winning 3-0.
And that's when I jumped on the Bet365 app. Let's roll.
Wow. 3-0 in the first. And then the Canes would get 3 to tie it in the first 5 minutes and 40 seconds of the second period. Just wiped her out. Did you like that lead? Hope you did, because she gone.
Yeah.
Sebastian Aho had a couple on the night, including in double OT. Yeah, I mean, Dawson Mercer, high stick, double minor.
You know, I guess.
Yeah. Did we watch any of it? Not the game, the series.
Yeah, I watched the overtimes and the third periods.
Gonna be tough. Yeah, gonna be tough to
good overtime last night.
That one over.
Couple.
That much, Dean.
Yeah.
Also helped that the Oilers look good. I could just watch some overtime instead. A little easier on my nerves.
Right. Just flip away.
These 2 games went to overtime. This said great. Every time I flipped over, like, Oilers look good. Too bad I got to watch this overtime over here.
Canes move on. They'll play the winner of the Washington-Montreal series.
Oh, Brad, you are your boy.
Your Canes?
Yeah.
Who, Rod the Bod?
Look at him.
Well, it's just win.
Look, this was maybe the easiest series for all of us. It was a unanimous Carolina selection. As I turn to our votes on the wall,
Even AI got that.
Even AI,
stupid AI got that right.
Yeah.
Oh, AI took Edmonton. The rest of us took Carolina.
Rhett said he'd beat us up if we made the wrong pick. I think we all knew where we were going. Jim Hiller screwed us, boys. Quentin Byfield.
Damn it. What is the stat with Brindamore? Came out last night. He's the first. What is it? First coach makes wins a playoff round 6 or 7 years, or makes playoffs or something like that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not as big a fan.
But you know what? For a team that hasn't gone to the final every year, just another win this one, win that. They're quietly have won a lot of series under Rod's watch. Is probably what the stats telling you.
They sure have.
And honestly, who do you like more than them in that division? Like, do you think Washington's the favorite there? I kind of think Carolina will be.
Well, we'll find out. That is one of the games we've got going tonight. Caps lead 3-1, back at home against the Habs, who looks like it was fun, right? They got in.
No,
fun.
They're not satisfied. They were down 3-1 to the Leafs in the Canadian division bubble nonsense COVID playoff. So they believe it's happening again.
Didn't the coach get pissed off yesterday or something?
Who? Marty.
Short one? Or
Marty St. Louis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like, fellas, we need a little bit more, gusto here at practice. We need a little more vim and vigor. We're down 3-1, boys.
Bunch of fat cats.
We got some staving to do tomorrow. What are we doing out here? I don't know. I just saw he was upset. Do you laugh when it's when a little guy like that gets all hot-headed and mad?
Was it like the Glenn Galton crumple? They throw the stick in the
okay. All right, just calm down.
That's a guy that I wouldn't. Have you seen his legs? They're tree trunks.
Who, St. Louis?
Yeah,
I think
Scully
put you in like a
reaction, but not
figure four.
You have to do a leg wrestling thing with them.
Yeah.
Do they use
in the locker room
four anymore, Dean? And is it
is that a move? What about the Boston?
Because it was hard to get out of the old figure four. That is a difficult.
Not really, because then you had the Brett sharpshooter, which was kind of a form of the, it's the crossing of the legs and then applying pressure on the shins, kind of a thing. Ric Flair was the man. I mean, Rick knew how to do it the best. He was, of course,
the figure four leg locks.
Oh. No one did it quite like that. I'm not sure if anybody's still rocking the figure four. I used to throw it on guys in elementary school.
Oh yeah,
who thought it was fake, and they'd start crying.
What's fake now, buddy?
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
Pretty real all of a sudden, isn't it?
That's right. It's real to me, damn it. Still real to me. The Knights have won back-to-back games in overtime to take a series lead over Minnesota.
Not comfy, but they're getting it done.
They're getting it done.
And honestly, if you're getting it done, just get it over with and get rested, because
it's very Vegas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just, we don't really go away. We're hard. If you're going to beat us, you're going to have to.
Reviewed for offside, it was a couple toenails off. That's how close we were to a Minnesota lead in the series.
Yeah, Hartman scored 1:15 left, and I mean, man, it was not
all right.
It was not an egregious offside. If you're an old schooler and you replay and this, that, I mean, it was. Did the goal result come because of the offside? No.
Was it offside? Yes.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
I think they should get rid of the offside challenge.
I mean, we see ones like
unless
this
it's scored with on the brush of it. I guess. I don't. Maybe I'm crazy.
It
just seems.
The problem is when our objective is to get the call right, then we do, and it's a narrow margin. People lose their minds. It's like, well, again, before we didn't have review, and a really, really offside goal could end a series, and people would say, why don't we have review?
Skate in the crease.
That's not offside review. I said offside.
Oh, okay. The offside. Yeah.
I still want to keep that one.
We'll go to the Insider Hotline. It's a presentation of Crystal Waters Plumbing and Heating, your crystal clear choice for all residential plumbing, heating, and cooling services. And right now, they have got some promotions on the go. They've got little HVAC love. You need some HVAC promotions.
Right, you do, Dean.
A preventative maintenance tune-up sale. You're going to save about $50 on your furnace or AC tune-up. They've got details and savings on additional equipment. Preventative maintenance, you're going to save 10% off there. Free upgrade, preventative maintenance deals.
Like that.
How's your boiler system?
I don't know.
Depends on my dairy intake, Dean.
Right now, the last couple days, I had this dessert. It was no good. I needed some work on my boiler system for sure. Purchase a boiler system, 10% off and a year of free preventative maintenance. Go to the website and find out more. They are your crystal clear choice for home comfort. crystalclearcalgary.com. We go to the Insider Hotline and say hello to Jamie McLennan.
Oh,
James, how we doing?
Hi, guys. Remember Roberto Luongo had a bad boiler in the playoffs?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, the toilet emoji on Twitter.
Did you see Shaq? Shaq had her there.
Shaq
Oh, yeah, that one. He was the best part on that panel is they're like, I think Shaq, didn't Charles go, you gotta go to the crapper? Like he just calls him right out. Like that.
Yeah.
Olive oil is he
You're drinking that olive oil. Drinking too much olive oil.
Yeah.
That's right.
Tension shuffle. That was no good.
Yeah. What's going on?
Well, we're keeping our eye on the postseason and the action that's happening on the ice. There's a lot of exciting action on the ice, Jamie, these days. There's games every night.
I'm aware. You know where I live, right? I'm aware. You know where I live.
How is the hot take-a-tude in Toronto this morning?
It's red hot.
I think we have this segment on our show called Underpants Cam. So if you're, there's going to be a couple skid marks, I think.
It's like the boiler system. Yeah.
Yeah. What shade of brown are we here? Pretty dark. Oh dear.
We have that on the screen. It's like a shade of brown, bottom right, top left. I think it might be bottom row, middle.
Oh dear, that's
not good. But listen, it's so funny. I've talked to people all today in the market, not in the market, and the Ottawa Senators are allowed to be a good team too. I get that the Leafs jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and they played great. But outside of game one, which was Ottawa too horny on offense as far as aggressiveness and took too many penalties, they were 3 for 6 on the power play. The Leafs were, and Ottawa was 0 for 3 in that game. 6-2, the Leafs were the better team. Ottawa looked overwhelmed. But from games 2 to 5, it's been pretty close. And a bounce here, a seeing eye shot there. So it's when you look at the chances, they're not overwhelming. So it's last night the high danger chances were 7-7. So it's not this high event wide open hockey. So it can go either way. But if you said to me at the start of the play of this round one, that series, I said it would probably go 6 or 7. Well, that's what's happening. But what's happened is the way it's arrived has really got people worked up. And, at 3-2 is 3-2. So the Leafs have an opportunity to close them out again. I don't know. I mean, it might go to 7, but Ottawa's the last couple games look pretty darn good. And it's amazing when the goalie starts making some saves. Mm-hmm. It could be a little scary.
Yeah. The funny part for me is you were up 3-0, but essentially everyone's losing their mind that the Leafs didn't win 4 of 5. We're in a league where favorites are often 60 to 65% in a lopsided matchup. You're asking a team to win 80% of a 5-game, and they didn't. What a bunch of losers.
It's the scar tissue, though,
right?
All
the psychology, it is. And
it is. And you're 100% right. The scar tissue is in this market, here we go again, seeing this act. Up 3-1 against Montreal in the bubble, losing 7. And what – the only thing that I get frustrated with is the verbiage. We won the division and they're an inferior team. It's not like Ottawa was a lottery team that just backdoored their way into the playoffs. They were second wild card, and they probably could have been in the top 3 in any other division based on either points or quality of competition. It just so happens the Atlantic 5 teams made it, and pretty good teams. So in the end, I I look at it that way is like, okay, Ottawa's a good team. They're allowed to play. They've played hard. Outside of game one, they haven't been overwhelmed. And I even was reminding somebody at TSN today saying, Thomas Chabot's 28 years old. This isn't, hey, lessons learned. He's 19. Like Brady and him, they have 500 games in the league. Great. So they know how to play. They just have never experienced, the playoff situation. So they're learning on the fly, but they're not overwhelmed by the moment. It just so happens they don't have a wealth of, going deep into the playoffs or playing multiple years in the playoffs, but they're adjusting. And, I thought Jake Sanderson was the best player on that kid can play, man. Like he is so good. And, some of the younger guys aren't overwhelmed anymore. They're just playing.
Also, there's no pressure when you're down 3-0. Everyone's already written you off. Fun spot to play.
You can play hey, we got nothing to lose. Go out and relax and play. And, I would suspect to see a big effort from the Leafs tomorrow. Ottawa might be defending a lot, or they got to figure out. But if Ottawa's found a formula too, then it might be another close game. There's no reason that doesn't lead me to believe that won't be another close game.
And I would argue that the team with the best goalie is 5-0. So
yeah,
you can
that's scar tissue for the last 14 games where the Leafs with a win would eliminate their opponent are 1-13.
Yes.
So there is that.
Yep.
You mentioned Ullmark, 29 saves. He allowed 12 on 65 shots in the first 3 games. Since then, 3 on 63. So that's a sharp turn.
He looks more comfortable. Like it's weird with him, and having been around him all year, it's not like he's a 60-game starter. We've already identified that. He's he's played 49 as the most he's ever played in the regular season. But he does get into these grooves where he looks comfortable. And before his injury, where he got injured in Edmonton at Christmas, that was December, whatever that was, 22nd, 23rd. He was 8-0 and was kind of like what I'm seeing right now, just very comfortable in the net, making the saves. He's not busy. He doesn't open a lot of holes, doesn't go chasing. He's a big guy who moves well. And he reads plays. Like he looks comfortable right now. I don't know what that translates to, but as you mentioned, the stats aren't lying. 3 goals on 63 shots or whatever it is. Yeah. And he looks comfortable the last couple games. And the Leafs in the first couple games, they were getting to him because they were getting bodies there. And he wasn't tracking pucks, and he looked a little bit off kilter. And now the Sens are, trying to get to Stolarz, getting bodies in front of him. Another seeing eye shot yesterday from Chabot, where, just get your pucks through. That was one of the things I noticed if I had to critique Ottawa was at one point they had 90 shots blocked. So they weren't in credit to the Leafs for getting in lanes and Chris Tanev, who's a blocker of all blockers, but you've got to get your shots through to test the goaltender. Somehow Ottawa is finding a way to at least get a few more shots through, and a few of them have found the back of the net.
It's crazy over the course of a 7-game series, which, what are we talking? Just a week or a little more?
Yeah.
How convinced we can all be of certain things. Wow, this is clearly what's happening. This is not happening. So here's how it's going to end. And then wait about 5 days, because it was Friday when we felt a certain way about the Oilers-Kings series. Today's Wednesday. And I don't know how you feel. We've talked about it a bit. We feel 180 degrees polar opposite of where we were just a few short days ago.
It's funny you say that, because Toronto and Edmonton are both up 3-2. One fan base is so upset. One fan base is so elated. Now, the pathway, you look at the pathway of how they've arrived. On Friday, we were looking at a team that was disjointed. Stuart Skinner wasn't making saves. Evan Bouchard was doing what he does. Side note, could he be the most fascinating player in the National Hockey League?
What a study. It'd be
that's a case study.
Yeah.
Pinder, analytic wise, this guy, he could be the most fascinating case study on the planet when it comes to pro athletes. Because there was a time the other night where they were chasing the game, and he was a direct result of some of the goals going in and casual and turning pucks over. And then he scores a goal, and then bats a puck out, or Byfield doesn't get it out. He makes a aggressive play, keeps it in and scores again, and people are like, "You got to sign him. Give him 10 million. Give him 12 million." Like,
yeah.
The only thing that I can conclude out of this is that they miss Ekholm to quiet his game down.
Yeah.
And I had a chat with Mark Mathot the other day, and I think it's a great, it's not a great comparison because Karlsson's on another planet, or was one. But Mathot was so good with Erik Karlsson that he put a lot of fires out, and he just kind of quieted things down and allowed him to do what he did. Clearly, Bouchard is missing Ekholm that quieted and poured water. They're missing the Rhett Warner, that type of stuff, a stabilizing defenseman that go, clean up on aisle 9. I'll go over and sweep this up and clean it under the rug, and you go do what you do. And once in a while, it doesn't work. But he is the most fascinating case study. So getting to your point with the Oilers, another interesting, crazy stat, they've had 63 high danger chances in the last 2 games. They had 33 in the overtime game in the other night. And last night, it was 30 high danger chances. That's 63 good looks. Like, that's, and they're all, take it for what you're worth in context. But that's pretty impressive. Like, that's a team that's woken up. And yes, McDavid and Draisaitl, but I think Evander Kane's showing why he can be important. That was Frederick's best game last night. You're seeing some contribution from, I thought Arvidsson, he's a little bastard to play against, and I say that respectfully. But he's a tiny little man, but man, he's like, he can be like a Tasmanian devil.
You know who else, Noodles? And we talked about him the other day, and we shook our heads like, what are they doing, signing? Corey Perry in the playoffs is just get through 82. Don't worry about he still wants to win so badly and has the ability to make an impact again last night.
You're 100% right. I was going to say Klingberg as well, but let's go with Corey Perry first. Corey Perry, I was shocked that you're playing Draisaitl, McDavid, Perry. And I'm like, why is Hyman what is the thought process of not having Hyman there? And somebody said to me, when you look at it, Perry has better hands. Hyman's a harder worker as far as, in the forecheck. He's faster. He can be more physical because he's faster on the play. But when push comes to shove, you need somebody who can be a finisher in that spot, in the front of the net. And Perry has just a little bit better hands, more cleaner, more natural hands. So that, I think, might be the thought process of why Perry would be playing with them. And then you partner with Hyman with Nugent Hopkins, who they work well together, and they're smart players. But it's just interesting. And then where I wanted to go, I wanted Rhett to weigh in on this. John Klingberg, I thought his career was over.
Yeah.
And the last 2 games, he looks like, he handles the puck so well. He's not fast, so he has to think the game. But he's made some really nifty plays to, either extend a play offensively or to get out of the zone, quickly. Yes, he got walked by Kempe last night and Pickard bailed him out. But, everybody gets walked. It happens. But for me, I think Klingberg is really kind of, it was Klingberg or Brown. And you need Klingberg who can move the puck. So I think a few of the guys that haven't played have kind of settled into their game, and it's kind of helped their depth a little bit.
They look way better, like they've come alive and they're playing the way Oilers fans wants them to play. What is going on with LA though? Like, we're ultra focused. We're in Alberta and we can't cheer for the Oilers and blah, blah, blah. They got the greatest play. What has LA got going on? Like, have they gotten in their own heads? Is the coaching decision muddied it up? Byfield doesn't get it out. Like, we're literally talking about a sweep to losing in 6.
Yeah.
And I'm in my brain, what we're talking, I'm going, what's Hiller and what are the Kings feeling right now? Like, are they defeated? What is the coach telling you right now going into Edmonton for the next game?
I have to say the TSN turning point of the whole series was the goalie interference challenge.
Still,
like, that changed the dynamic. Edmonton to look back after that. Byfield not getting it out, I would say, like, the Oilers somewhere might have collectively said, like, we just escaped one here. Like, this is because that was 3-1 and or 3-0 and a dagger, and that's it. Like, you're done. And to me, might have woke them up. Like, I watched Evander Kane and Calvin Pickard's media after the game last night, and Kane said, like, we're playing with urgency. And, somebody, I don't know, stood up and said, hey, it might have been a McDavid meltdown like we saw on that Prime special or whatever. Like, somebody has gotten to them, or just through experience going, guys, like, we can't play with fire here.
But
LA is a good team. So go to LA.
Yeah.
I think shortening the bench, you're playing Drew Doughty a lot of minutes, okay? And I love Drew Doughty, and he plays hard, and he plays for keeps. And, that Gavrikov, man, I'd have him on my team. Like, he's got a little Robin Regeer piss and vinegar in him, and he's got some meanness to him and that. But Edmonton's wearing them down. Like, when Edmonton turned up the heat, it's tough for four guys to go out there and defend and defend and defend. And like, you're now all of a sudden, Kempe played the last 9 minutes as a defenseman last night.
Yeah.
Like, so I think Hiller looks a little bit rattled. But that being said, the attention to detail, Pinder, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but LA, did they struggle to score 5-on-5? Were they, I
don't think so. They're probably like a reasonable middle of the pack team.
Middle of the pack. Like, I look at that team, I think Kempe's a rock star. I really think he's an unbelievable player. But I look at some of their players that have to work to score. I think Fiala's a really talented guy. Trevor Moore's got some speed. Like, they've got some guys who are good players. I think Byfield can be a beast. He's still growing and still coming into it. But like, when you look at it, I've always thought they were a team that had to work to score. They just didn't have this like natural ability to make it happen. And Edmonton's doing a good job defensively. Like, if you look back now, Edmonton's now clogging the slot. They're now actually paying attention to back checking and trying to help the D out instead of just doing what they do, float around. So it might be a combination of both, but LA they've conformed to what Edmonton's been doing the last couple games, where it was Edmonton trying to keep up to LA.
Yeah, and you look at best team 5-on-5 in terms of scoring.
What's that?
Second best in the league at 5-on-5 scoring differential.
Then you know what? Then I'm corrected, because they haven't looked like that the last couple games.
Yeah, they did in games 1, 2, 3, 4 though.
But
right?
they all you're right. I thought they did. They again
early
the coach decision. Byfield getting it out, and we're talking about different things. So it's that razor tight, but we know that. But the other thing in game 4 that they did, and I keep harping on it, the third period, they didn't even try to play in the offensive zone. No. Not for a second.
I know. You can't, like, safe is death. I'm sorry. And I think that's where we come back to the case study of Evan Bouchard. He's too much, where there's no safe in his game, where he's just like, nah, I'll play. Like, safe is death. And they've done it 2 games in a row where they're trying to defend instead of going, I'm going to defend in the offensive zone, trying to
have success.
That's how you got there. That's how you got your leads after 40 minutes every game in the series, basically. But the fun thing about the Bouchard case study is, like, we're literally talking about empty nets and clearing the zone from, like, this guy getting run out of town like Eberle did when they lost to the Ducks, and they got absolutely destroyed in that trade. And now it's like, we got to pay this guy. Like, he's literally the second highest scoring defenseman in NHL history in the playoffs behind Bobby Orr. It's insane. And he's got arb rights this summer, so this gets to play out with someone trying to put a value on this guy.
It is crazy. I think what you have to do is remove emotion and look at context with him. There is no perfect player. And what he's able to do to move the puck, to have the shot. I thought he had a poor season.
Yep.
I didn't think he hit the net enough. I didn't think he tried his shot too much. I think he was trying to be too perfect and too safe. And I think what he's done in the playoffs is just elevated and saying, I'm going to use that shot. I'm going to use my instincts. But he is a fascinating case study. I'll give you an example. Last night, Edmonton didn't sit back. They were up 2-1. They kept pushing.
Yeah.
So LA's trying to get stuff going. They're trying to push. And Edmonton, everywhere they turned. Now, they had a good neutral zone, which really helps, because I think sometimes Edmonton struggles in the neutral zone because they get spread out. They're a little lazy coming back. Their gaps, they can't gap up because they're taking on water. But when you get help, their D could stand up. I still think there's more from Nurse. He's a guy who's extremely polarizing, but he's his decision making with the puck offensively, like get the puck on a stick, make a little quicker play. I thought Kulak could have been a little quicker with the puck on certain things, but they've found, at least I think they've found the formula. Okay, we know when we're playing well, it looks like that. And now if they bottle that up and do that tomorrow night and win a series, or does LA have adjustments and force game 7? Kemper's done everything he could. That's the scary part. If Kemper has an average to below average game, that's curtains.
I'll push back on that. He was excellent last night. He was second worst, only behind Hellebuyck in goals saved above expected in the playoffs after game 4. So if you had some of those 5 bell saves last night sprinkled throughout games 3 and 4, the series might be over. Not that he wasn't good, but the goals expected are not flattering for him. Last night, he was exceptional. That was his best game by a mile. Could have used that when you could have gone up 3-1 or theoretically 4-0 if you do some things differently.
Is there a way for the Kings to right the ship? Or is it?
Well, yes, because
forecheck would be my advice. And back check. It's playoff hockey. You stop playing playoff hockey. You don't reinvent the wheel. We were better than the Oilers in 4 games, and we're down 3-2.
Yeah, to right the ship, make Edmonton play in their own zone. It's forecheck. And, force Calvin Pickard to like Calvin Pickard's done a good job. Like he's made saves. And the weird thing is he doesn't apologize for his style. And I'll give you an example. I talked about Klingberg getting walked by Kempe last night. Kempe had speed, and Kempe tries to open up Pickard. Pickard's so aggressive pushing from right to left that he ends up, if you watch the replay, about 5 feet outside his crease beside the net. But the puck goes through him and comes out the short side. And he doesn't make apologies for, this is how I'm going to play. I'm aggressive. I'm going to take a step out. You're going to have to beat me, either go around me or you're going to have to beat me with a good shot or a deflection. But he just plays a certain way. And right now, I think the Oilers respect that. They know how he's going to play, and they're just going to go, hey, it's an unmade bed, as Ray Ferraro would say. It's an unmade bed in the net, but he plays and he works hard in there. And I'll give you case in point. Draisaitl scores in overtime the other day. McDavid jumps up. He turns and beelines down the ice towards Pickard. And like it just, Pickard, I think, has the room. He has the trust of the guys, and he's made some big saves. And again, analytically, Mike Kelly sent me a small sample size, but he's faced 7 seam side-to-side passes, one-timers, and he's 7 for 7 on them. Stuart Skinner has allowed 5 goals on 8. Now, again, that's tough plays, and one of them was a 5-on-3 Fiala type of thing. But, I think Pickard making those saves at right times has really helped the confidence of the group.
Just going to your, and we can move on and talk about something else, but in a series where teams we've talked a lot about the Kings and how they've shortened their bench, and obviously with the Oilers, it feels like Bouchard and McDavid and they're on the ice all the time. No one has played more than Drew Doughty. He and Mikey Anderson have played more than anybody else in the series. And maybe Mikey has, and Drew Doughty, as they showed on so go out there, play a bunch of minutes. We're going to have you on all game. Plus, you got to be aggressive on McDavid, and you need to hit him, and you need to be physical. And
yeah,
I mean, he's a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
But at this point in his career, it just feels like the coach is asking for something that.
Well, and they're sitting back the last.
Yeah.
Shorten your bench and sitting back is a horrible recipe.
You're forcing Doughty to turn and go back and absorb contact and try and make a play. And you're right. If Doughty was playing in the offensive zone and keeping the puck in and dragging to the middle, a little chip down, like the minutes that those guys are absorbing they're heavier miles because of the way that they're actually attacking or sitting back, not attacking. So you're right. Would it be nice to have, somebody Clark to step up and take some more minutes and all of that type of stuff? Yes, but Hiller he's certainly taking a lot of heat for his deployment of players or lack of it. In the end, you got two pretty damn good teams going at it. It just Edmonton, it took a little bit longer to get to what they were as a team. Like I thought Frederick looked good yesterday. I said it earlier. Like Evander Kane is a very unique player. There's not a lot of teams that have an answer for a guy who wants to play like that, who can score but also punch you in the face and is in every scrum and, is a wild card. He might take a bad penalty because he loses it. And, to me, and all of a sudden now you add in Frederick, who's kind of a Kane light, who wants to be there every scrum, he wants to make an impact and try. Like they've got a little bit of now some sandpaper, which Edmonton, they were the lightest team in the league as far as the way they played this season during the regular season. They weren't a heavy team. They weren't a mean team, but you've got a little bit of that playoff uniqueness. And it's kind of falling into place for them. We'll see. Tomorrow night is a fascinating situation, but I would say, Pinder, to your point then, if Kemper, like I think he's played well, but you can look at some of the goals and all of that type of stuff. But if he has an off night, it doesn't look good for LA because they do rely on him a lot. And
it was great, and they got run. They could have been 8-0 last night.
Right. And even in overtime, I thought he made a couple good saves, a couple games ago.
Sure.
Where it's like, and here's the other thing too. Even in the Skinner games 1 and 2, yes, he may not have statistically had it, but he was better. Like game 1, he fell apart. That the McDavid tying goal, the 5th goal, was no good. It was a great play by McDavid. It goes through the body off the post. Like I would say both goalies weren't great in game 1, but in game 2, Skinner didn't deliver the saves that his team needed. Kemper did, settled in. Games 3 and 4, he's to me that he's given them an opportunity. But if he has an off night where it's a pull or like something like that, that's they got nothing now.
He's a Vezina finalist. He has to play like one, or they're cooked, and they're probably cooked if he does anyway. Like exactly.
Want to let you go, and it's kind of a common theme and a common thread. But while we're doing the human case study or whatever, if we're gonna, can you just keep them on, because tonight the watch of Connor Hellebuyck is going to be kind of fascinating, isn't it?
Yes. So Jekyll and Hyde. Game 1, I thought he was deep on the goals, but they won, right? So you win, you're fine. Game 2, I thought he was fantastic. A little bit more aggressive, certainly dialed in. I thought his positioning was rock solid. Game 3 was a nightmare, throwaway. And it's almost like a coach burned the tape because everybody was red rotten. They got exposed. They were run out of the building physically. I don't know if I said it on the show on Friday. It looked like St. Louis had 7 players on the ice. They were everywhere. And Winnipeg was. So game 3, I'll throw it out the window. Game 4 was interesting because Winnipeg started the first 18 minutes. They were out shooting them. They were out chancing them. They had the territorial advantage and looked good. But then what happens is St. Louis scores right with 2 minutes left in the first period. And you kind of have a game. And you're like, okay, how's Winnipeg going to respond? Run out of the building, period 2, period 3. Now, Mark Scheifele's a big part of that because they clearly targeted him. And he had no points and really no pushback, where he was dominant in games 1 and 2. But I look at some of the details. So Hellebuyck, no good. Robert Thomas goal, for example, that's goal number 5 last game. Kyle Connor goes into the offensive zone, stops up, tries to make a play, turns it over. Morrissey falls on the play. Kyle Connor gets beat up the ice by Robert Thomas. By 5 steps. It wasn't and Connor can move. It was just, he was late on the play. I wouldn't say lazy, but late on the play. If you look at the back door, it was Pionker DeMello was playing right shot, took away the pass. So Hellebuyck, that's your guy. Thomas literally just skates around Hellebuyck and puts it in the open net. There was no push from left to right. There was no I'm going to yard sail this to try and keep this puck out. No urgency on that puck. It's just I'm going to big, I'm going down, and geez, my lateral movement isn't great. I'm just not going to get there. That one's going in. I didn't like that goal. I thought that showed that St. Louis was getting to him and exposing some of the things that, listen, he's not a perfect goaltender, but lateral movement, he's very robotic and compartmentalized. And there is a formula to try and get him moving, and you can get around him. And St. Louis found that. Now they got the last change because Luke Shen looked like, a 30, whatever he is. How old is he? 35? 32?
I don't think he's that old. Maybe I'm
he
wrong.
looked 42 last game.
Yeah, jeez.
And
I thought you were saying the other shit. Sorry.
yeah, no, not his brother.
Yeah, Luke.
The big-headed defenseman. I love that guy. He's an animal.
35.
35. He looked 45. But on the road, you can't shield him. There.
Yeah.
You can't shield him. And he wasn't the only problem. They missed DeMello in the third game because he was sick. But in the end, giving up way too many, downhill chances, Hellebuyck has to be better though. And I like the fact, because he's usually a sociopath when he talks, and gives up 7 and goes, I felt great. I don't know what. He called himself out and said, I need to be better. I will be better. So I'm really excited to see how he's going to play tonight and how they respond, because that was 2 drubbings where they got run out of the building in St. Louis.
We'll let you get out of it. We talked to Devin Dubnyk on Monday, and we were talking about the Oilers and going from Skinner to Pickard. You don't have that option here, right? You just have to go with Hellebuyck, good, bad, indifferent, don't you?
This guy might win the Hart.
Yeah.
Not just a Vezina. I'm part of the voting process. He was number 1 on my list.
Oh dear.
I had Draisaitl at 2 because he missed those games down the stretch. But I mean, if you look at it, he had an unbelievable season. And for me, he was a Hart finalist. That's the way I looked at it. Winnipeg's a lot better in front of him this year, but they're just, there's lots of guys that could have been up for the Hart or should have, but there was injuries involved and inconsistencies down the stretch. And you could have had Kucherov in there. You could have had McKinnon, Makar, you name it. I loved Quinn Hughes for the Hart, but they fell apart near the end.
Oh God, I wish we could ask you about Vancouver.
We didn't even touch that yet.
I got time.
Back to Boom's question, you can't. Comrie doesn't solve it. You still have to go to Hellebuyck, even if he shits his pants early.
That's my point. This isn't like, hey, Hellebuyck allows 2 goals on 4 shots tonight. Comrie, you're going in to save this. It's like, This is your net. You play every night. You've been pulled 2 games in a row. Mm-hmm. There's no I think tonight Hellebuyck has to finish the game no matter what happens to it. That would be my opinion of it, because it's not like Comrie came in and slammed the door. Keep in mind, Comrie, there wasn't an injury in Winnipeg where Comrie, I believe Pickard won 22 games for Edmonton this year. He played a lot where, you're going to a guy that the team is familiar with and trusts in the net in Edmonton, as opposed to Comrie, who's an amazing person, great backup, but there's a potential Hart trophy / for sure Vezina winner in the net. He only comes out if they give up a touchdown tonight in the first period.
Rolly, the goalie, is not taking Hasek's spot. Don't care how many goals were scored on Dom.
Exactly. McLennan's not taking Kiprusoff's spot.
Is Keenan coaching? Hang on, because he did that.
Yeah, well, that's
you never know.
Well,
well, again, we don't want to keep you, but Tocchet not returning in Vancouver.
I want your guys' opinion on that, because I feel bad. I love Jimmy Rutherford. I've got to know the owner a little bit, Aquilini Francesco, nice guy and all of that type of stuff. But in the end, something's not right there. And for a coach, and we were trying to come up with it yesterday, Paul Maurice left Winnipeg, right? Kind of.
Just don't leave almost ever.
Right. When's the last time a coach goes, no, I'm good? As opposed to usually teams are trying to bring, and that's not a market. It should be a desirable market. Vancouver's a beautiful place, good organization.
How did they play last year? They were awesome. That's part of it to me, is that I can see the tea leaves lining up, whatever the hell you want to describe, for Tocchet to leave and go to Philly. Okay, whatever. But that only lines up if things have gone south in Vancouver. Last year, there would be people that were picking them to go to the finals this year.
Agreed. If everybody was healthy and everybody looked good, but it also speaks to how maybe a magic man talk it was to keep some of the nonsense together in a year where everything was going right. Last year, it all fell apart. And for them to come out and admit, like, yes, this was going on for a long time, and we finally we couldn't come to a resolution with Pettersson and JT Miller. Like, it just, the Demko injury, like what are you going to do with Thatcher Demko? Like, are you going to sign?
Now you're going to win. You're cooked. Besser's gone. It's the house of cards tumbled, man. This is over. Tocchet saw it. The owner's a loon. I know you know him, so you can't say it, but that's the biggest problem they have. Ownership's been an issue for decades.
Okay, so let me go one step further. They've got this guy named Quinn Hughes, who's a pretty damn good player.
He's gone.
That's like, what do you do with Quinn Hughes? He's got 2 years left on his deal, correct?
Yeah. He's a free agent in the summer, 27. Demko's a free agent next summer. Besser's a free agent this summer. He's gone. Tocchet's gone.
And you've got Pettersson at 11.6, who I do believe knows how to play hockey and is a pretty damn good hockey player when he's got confidence and all of it. It just, I feel awful for that organization. I've got a dear friend there who's a diehard Canucks fan, and he's been banging the drum that they should have broken it down and rebuilt years ago, and they kept putting masking tape on it and taping it. But I'm saying, but you've got arguably one of the best defensemen on the planet in his prime. And what are you going to do with that?
In a desirable location.
Yes, Vancouver's an amazing city. You guys know I love Calgary. I love Vancouver. I grew up in Edmonton.
That being said, and I'm interrupting you because
no,
it's an absolute disaster,
big time.
And so,
like, people are looking at this like this is the birds are going to pick this body clean, aren't they?
Well, again, depending on what the pathway is. If you're Quinn Hughes, you go, what are we doing here?
He's nuts. Well, yeah, okay. He's going to go talk to Rutherford.
Jimmy Rutherford and go,
what with Quinn Hughes? You be Jim Rutherford and tell me what they're going to do. How do you approach this?
Yeah, the guy who just said I really like Tocchet, keep him. Now what's he want?
Who's going to coach?
His brothers.
Well, it sounds like Rutherford in his media yesterday said that Mike Sullivan wants to stay in the East. So they basically ruled that out.
Wouldn't this be one of the least desirable, which is sad because we're saying it's a desirable place to go live and play, which I believe it to be. Yeah. But as a coach, if you're a coach that's in the running for a job of one of these 7 teams that's looking, this might be the least desirable spot.
I think what you have to be, if you're a coach and a veteran coach and you're sitting down there going, okay, truth serum. Let's pretend this is truth serum.
I'm calling Tocchet.
And you say, who am I coaching next year? That's question number 1. Who's my goalie? It's Lankinen because he's on term. It's Demko, but is he going to be healthy? I've got Quinn Hughes. You've got some good players there. Like, you've got the framework of some really good players, but are you going to move them out? Are you going to break this down, or are you going to double down after a bad year and try and use the Besser money and use some of this and move, deck chairs on the Titanic? Are you going to do that? That is, if I'm a veteran coach, I need those answers before I sign there.
Yeah, but what's your job as the GM? What are you doing there? Like, that's the question. Is like, okay, if I'm the coach, they're coming to us. So you want to coach the team? Well, I got to have some answers. Well, okay. Well, what is the answers? I have no freaking idea because I don't trust that Hughes is going to want to stay. I don't trust that Demko is ever going to be healthy again. I don't trust that Pettersson's a good player or has the character to. I think he's got the skill and the talent, but he's clearly not. He's a bit like Line A. Yeah. Line A can shoot the puck and score you a bunch of goals. Does he do it? No. Oh, yeah. Well.
They're not going to get a veteran coach. They're going to get Manny Malholter.
Anyway, I don't care. I want Noodles' opinion on what are you doing if you're Rutherford?
How old is Jimmy? 78?
Quitting? Like, he might be the next chip to fall. I've had it. This is too much.
Like, who gives Jim Rutherford his walking orders? Like, let's be honest here. It's the owner.
That's fine, but you're still the owner has to present a plan to the owner.
The owner, you always have to, if you're a manager, you're managing up and you're managing down. I understand that. If the mandate, and it comes back to what Pinder just said, if the mandate is, I don't care what you do, you're making the playoffs next year. So that's your mandate. So you're doubling down. and hoping that Pettersson regains the form. You get a healthy Demko, and now you've got you're spending what is it, 11 million, 9 million in net, whatever it is, 6 and what's blanking, maybe 4, so 10 million in net. And like, to me, you're going to take Besser's money and you're going to spend it on somebody else and bring in a free agent that have the framework. You hope that Hedl settles in. You hope that Jake DeBrusk is actually he had a good year there.
Good.
You hope that. So in the end, you're going, well, we have some pieces. We hope we're healthy. We hope that, Dakota Joshua misses the first couple months with I think it was a cancer scare, whatever that was, respectfully. So it just, you're hoping that the year where you overachieved or not, it all fell together for them 2 years ago and fell apart. Maybe you're hoping, are we somewhere in the middle there?
You're hoping to find a coach that can pull these guys together, like Tom.
Yes.
You need someone that can coach Pettersson is the key here.
Yes.
And again, you don't want to cater to the, enigmatic, high skill, wonder about his work ethic player. But let's be honest, the only path forward for this team to be successful in the short term is someone that gets at least Pettersson humming again. That's the biggest thing he has to hire, is someone that can get Pettersson going. And
keeps Quinn Hughes happy. Like, by all accounts, Quinn Hughes really liked Rick Tocchet.
Yes.
So that's, again, you're in the short term, you're right. It's dealing with Pettersson because you need somebody to coach that team and keep everybody at bay and just get everybody to buy into what it is. Maybe it's a younger progressive coach. Maybe it is Manny Malhotra or somebody like that, a Spencer Carberry type, right? Like, young players coach, progressive, all of that. But in the end, that team only goes as far as the guys who are under contract for them and whoever you add in the offseason. And if the mandate is from the Aquilinis, playoffs next year, it's always playoffs, then you're not bottoming out. You're going, we're going to add to this and see what we can make of it. And to me, it's a tough position to be in, because you're retooling's the wrong word, but you're trying to add to a group that didn't have success and go, well, maybe this piece helps. Maybe this piece, like,
Jason, right?
This is a poor analogy or a poor comparison. The mandate to Kyle Dubas in Pittsburgh was like that.
Yes.
While Sid is here, you got to keep adding. Hey, let's bring in Kevin Hayes. Let's Puljujärvi and all of these. You're going, why the hell did they make that move? So you're trying to add to this group that's aging out. And to me, at some point, they're going to have to explode it. In Vancouver, they're not at that point right now, because you have literally the second best player, if Cale Makar is one, the second best defenseman on the planet in his prime, and 2 years away from going adios if I don't like what I'm seeing.
All right, brother. We'll get you out of here.
Yeah, I got to go. I got to eat.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm starving. My groceries are sitting right there.
Yeah.
Again, buddy.
Thanks, James.
See you guys.
You bet. Jamie McLennan on the Insider Hotline, a presentation of Crystal Waters Plumbing and Heating. Go to crystalclearcalgary.com. HVAC promotions on, plumbing promotions on. You can call 403-219-4100 and get them to help. It's the heart of your home. Put it into their capable hands. Yeah, it's a weird one. We always talk about, don't read too much into success. Can you read too much into failure? Are they as bad as they looked? Well, if they were healthier, what would they have looked like? And I don't know. Does Tocchet trust that Demko's ever going to be healthy again?
Tocchet knows all this stuff better than we do.
Because if Demko's going to be healthy and play like he did last year, year before, then that solves a massive issue. If Pettersson's going to be 100-point guy, guess what? This is a hell of a team. It's just that the people around it are jumping ship, so it makes you wonder.
It's a great reason to wonder. Rick Tocchet has better answers than we do on any of those questions. Yeah. And he said, you know what? I'll risk not getting top dollar with the Canucks to find a job somewhere else just because he doesn't believe. If he believed, he's still there.
I don't disagree, but there is.
He knows the best.
He knows it best, but he's got options. Damn well he's got something else planned. So he'll
get a job for sure.
If there were two spots open and they weren't in Philly or somewhere, like, it might not be as clear cut and easy decision for Tocchet either, just to go thanks, but no thanks.
Where do you have Rick? I find like it's interesting to talk it. He's acclaimed as a very, very good coach. What's his signature? I think he's made the playoffs twice in 9 years, and he's had some bad teams. I think he definitely helped reset culture there. But you also saw the whole thing crumble underneath him as well. Like he seems to have this reputation as like one of those top 5 difference-making coaches.
I don't.
The only thing missing is the resume doesn't match that at all.
I don't think he's top 5.
But he wants to be paid like one is what it seems like, and I think he will. I think he's going to get his $4 to $5 million. You can't begrudge him
for wanting to get.
No, it's just there seems to be a disconnect when he's on the panel. Everyone's like, "Oh man, what a coaching candidate!" It's like
I think he's a revert.
It's probably fine,
but when you're a good guy and people like you, I think the players like him because he's would be straightforward and honest. And I think his greatest asset would probably be culture, right? Like that would. I don't know. I'm a million miles away from it.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that he's teaching a skating stride and an X and O and a power play. Right? Like that's not what he's going to be about.
Look, he was in Arizona forever and they sucked. It's just there does seem to be a bit of a gap. Like I think if you had people rank him, he would show up very high on a lot of lists, and the results aren't.
People are idiots, Pinder.
Yeah, look at this show. Shit.
It's a very good point. People are idiots. You know what we need right now? We need the vibes are not great. How about the Barn Burner playoff bundle with Origin Brewing? That's going to turn your day around, your week around. I don't know how it's going for you.
So weather looking this weekend, Dean?
I think I don't know. I haven't looked, but I'm sure it's great. Look at Aiden. What a sweet boy he is.
He doesn't have that bulge in his belly area with that shirt.
I was going to say that's how it's supposed to fit, I guess.
Weird how that just falls straight down there.
A 4-pack of Barn Burner Blonde, a 4-pack of the Afterburner Pale Ale, and an Origin Barn Burner t-shirt, all for just $45 plus GST. Only available online and while supplies last. Go to originbrewing.ca to get yours.
25 on Friday, 26 on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's some beer drinking weather, yeah.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, Donkey. Originbrewing.ca. You got plans for the weekend? What's going on this weekend? I haven't looked that far. God, it's
Wednesday. Get an Origin pack and chill out.
I'm going to the mountains, Dean.
Are you really?
Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be snow left, but we're going.
Because when do they shut it?
May 24th.
Yeah. When is May long? Is it? Like
it's early this year, but it's the week after they close this year. So it's almost June when they close, which is ridiculous. Not many places in the world you can do that.
Because you kind of use that as can you put your summer tires on? When are we doing this? When's this happening?
Yesterday he did it.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Bold.
Mm-hmm.
Feels a little bold.
Went up to that place with the pizza. Good.
Is that right, eh? Yeah, fair enough. So would you be getting some barbecue going then, Retro, this weekend as well?
Barbecue would be great.
Some Bonton?
Yeah.
Because Jack's got us in the mood now. He's been smoking.
Also, just to throw it out there, Dean. Pow. Cinco de Mayo on Monday, so I might lean Mexican.
Whoa. Barbacoa? Carnitas?
Just saying. I'm not going to limit it to just one day.
No, you can't.
No. Too much good stuff.
Get out of here with your rules. Cinco de Mayo. What about Cuatro de Mayo? Huh?
Yeah.
What about Siesta
Weekend de Mayo?
Siete de Mayo. Huh?
Yeah.
No one talks about them.
It's like a guy I used to didn't really work with him, kind of like colleague sort of thing. It was years ago. He was he didn't realize that Cinco de Mayo was on May 5th every year.
So what day is that?
It falls on May 5th every year. Yeah.
AI, if they didn't have AI back then, so we couldn't.
No, they didn't. No, they
May the
did
4th be with him. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Have we heard from Greg up at Bonton? When Bennett scores, or he was very happy last week when you said, Greg at Bonton, Sam Bennett, he's I can't believe that I got a little love from Pinder. Pinder said, Greg was right. I'd never hear that come out of Boomer's mouth, would I? I'm like, well,
Well, they got a chance to clinch tonight, so I imagine he'll be in your inbox right quick.
Yeah, he'll be right there. Yeah, he'll be right there. How far are you through your order there, Retro?
Sadly.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I was in the freezer the other. I'm like, ooh.
I'm having to bend over a little further.
I took a big pile out the other day, and my kid's like, "Holy, look at that, Dad!" What are that? I'm like, "Yeah, that's 3 days, maybe." Jeez, maybe. Got shit yesterday. Not enough meatballs.
Not enough.
Not enough meatballs. You're gonna. What is this chintzy BS? Where's the meatballs, Dad?
Yeah.
6.
How big? What are we talking?
Big, like this.
It's hard to know with meatballs.
No, it's not. More is better. It's true.
I know, but like, do you do a head count? Are you doing math? Meatball math?
No, but typically I will say this. I sent the meatballs, and that's what we send for lunch.
Really?
Yeah, thermos
at the Warner House.
Meatballs and some penne pasta, homemade sauce. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
There was only 6, and they cut them up and dice them up. There, 10 is usually the number that go in there.
Yeah,
it was a little light.
These aren't thermoses. These are like bloody steel, like feed the horses things.
Middle kid came home from, I don't know if it was hockey or soccer the other day, and needed a bedtime snack.
Uh-oh.
So he created he grabbed a ribeye and gave himself a $40 steak sandwich for a bedtime snack.
It's good work if you can get it. That's well done.
It's good parenting.
This is, yeah, Dad, steak sandwich. Come on,
Dad, this is perfect. Why are you looking at me like that?
You're in the basement, like, what's going on upstairs?
Yeah.
Just only at Warner's place. Anywhere else would be like, hey, you can't have pizza pops. Yeah, like, that's right.
That's Greg in the red there.
That is Greg right there. That's Greg from Bonton. Just relax. You're very upset.
Oh, I ordered.
That knows how big the order is. Saddle.
That is so great.
Yeah, have you seen that? No. Bonton
Meat Market. 28 Crowfoot Circle in the Northwest. You know what? Come to think about it, that should be, we need to talk to Greg. That should be the next thing. And maybe I don't know that it's there. Did they do like pre-made meatballs?
No.
Right?
I don't believe so.
Because I think I just know it
feels like an opportunity, right?
Italian markets, they've got them.
Yeah, like they'll do
meatballs up at Bonton. Do that.
There's a lot of people, they just can't wrap their head around getting their hands in with the meat. They just don't. They can't do it. I know. But if you had the nice blend of spices and everything, and you made them,
yeah,
they'd sell like crazy.
Hotcakes.
Yep, even more. Because hotcakes? Beat it. Give me some meatballs.
Meatballs.
Then you'd have to start doing your meatball math. Okay, I got 6 people. How are we doing?
What's sorry to interrupt you, but you're all right. But it also goes back to what Pinder said. What are the size of the meatballs? Are they the mini meatballs? Are they what are we talking about? What is the proper size?
It probably varies on the dish, right? If you're doing something Italian, maybe spaghetti and meatballs, you're doing something a little different. If you're doing like my daughter's favorite, she went to, I forget, she was at some friend of hers for dinner one night, and the mom is like, I have to get your recipe for the meatballs and mushroom sauce that you make. Sloan loves it. Well, the sauce is Campbell's cream of mushroom soup.
Right.
You take a can opener and then you dump it into a pot or fry pan and heat it up. Is how that kind of goes. So I'm thinking maybe there you want them a little bit smaller, something like that. Maybe are you having people over and you're like toothpicking?
Yeah,
appetizer.
It's a good move.
Sweet and sour.
Typically, I'm not, because at the Italian home that I have to pretend to be part of, it's red sauce. 99% of the time, 95. There's been a sweet and sour that has come out, and the kids do enjoy, but 95% of the time, she's a red sauce.
Tell me about this homemade sauce.
Oh, simple. Garlic, butter. I will dice some onion very finely, fry it all up. Tomato paste, not just the oh my God, tomato sauce, plain tomato sauce, not a jar of Prego,
not spaghetti sauce.
No, like tomatoes,
blended tomatoes.
Yes, in there, cream, parm, done.
Yeah, pretty good. God, stop.
Yeah, this is the wrong time to be talking about all this.
Hungry too. Noodles.
Now we all have to go to
yeah.
Entente.
So, Greg, meatballs. Ours. We've gone. It's out of control now.
Yeah, no, it's just.
Your hair's great there.
Their potato salad is the tits. Bonton Meat Market. You're not getting. You know what, Greg? You're not getting that kind of promotion anywhere else.
No,
you're not going to some newspaper, some online bullshit, and getting our potato salad is the tits. You're just not.
Genius is here.
You're not. You're just not. Second period intermission. It's the Kings and Oilers. The second period recap brought to you by Bonton Meat Market. Their potato salads and tits. Thanks, Gene. Let's do the Pinder Report. Do we have anything for Village Honda? How's the Accord or the
CRV?
Odyssey?
Did you give me a price on the CRV?
I heard they've got CRVs out the Yinger.
Well, I got a guy interested.
Yeah.
Send him up there. Northwest Automall.
I heard Village Honda, Northwest Automall online, and CRVs out the Yinger.
There's your, good.
Ryan Pinder.
It's the Pinder Report.
Let's go to Flames Nation, friends, where you can find out what people are talking about. Oh, offer sheet, Maverick Bork, which does beg the question: who's Maverick Bork? Rhett, back to you.
I was going to say, who's Nick Lacoste?
He's the writer. He did the writing.
Oh,
yeah, that boy Nicky.
He was in the Zeri draft, correct?
I'm not sure if it was that class or not. I believe that sounds about
I seem to remember him being kind of one of those guys that was on, because remember, Treliving kept dropping down and trading down.
Right.
And I remember him kind of being the one, like, you're going to get Maverick Bork at this pick. This is pretty good. And then I think they maybe went down one more time or they didn't take him. Well, I'm going to have to read this. Where do I find this article?
FlamesNation.ca.
Okay.
It's a great place for you to
Thanks.
Check things out on Maverick Bork and others. The premise of the deal: he's a rookie. He's being healthy in the playoffs. He's played 73 games regular season, 25 points. Good young player, perhaps set to boom. What do? You make him more expensive than the probably $1.5 to $2 million they're willing to pay him to get the asset, and hope that a sophomore season he explodes. He's 5'10", 192. He's only played 2 of the 5 playoff games.
23 years old.
23, which sounds like the Zeri class.
He's 5'12", Dean.
Is he 5'12"?
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. Huge. And it is the 2020 draft. You went 30th overall.
30th, Dean. Tronte.
And that was indeed the Zeri draft. Jake Neighbors in there. Ridley Gregg. There were some good players there.
Some solid Frances there.
All
right. Well, I'm going to have to. I know what I'm doing later.
Yeah.
Wing.
Right-handed shot set. Well, on this hockey DB, it says center shoots right.
Okay. Well, now we're talking. That's what we've been
asking. Him and Hanzik up the middle. Hey,
Dean, you can't talk about things you don't know the hell you're talking about.
Come on, Dean, read the article.
Sorry, guys.
Wing or center. Figure it out.
Back to you, Ryan.
We've got a little bit of clarity on one of the draft spots of the Calgary Flames with the New Jersey Devils being eliminated. Pike bomb with New Jersey failing. There's the okay, fine. They don't get to the Final Four. That will likely stay at 18th overall, with, of course, one caveat: unless Montreal manages to advance to the conference final, then it would go to 17th overall.
Oh,
because Montreal would drop into the last 4 picks of the draft, first round. Thanks, Pike.
All right. Thomas Harley.
Tomash. Good player, yeah.
18th overall, I think.
Good. Yeah, we'll take one of those, please. Let's go. Take 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a Wyatt Johnson while you're there. If you may as well get another pick in the first round.
Yeah.
Let's go to Vancouver, where we spoke all season about how polarizing a season it could be. There's Snuggy Bear, Rick Tocchet, who's no longer setting foot in the city as head coach.
That looks a little.
That looks
I
so
find
comfy.
that my Snuggy thing is too hot.
Yeah, it is too hot.
I
get sweaty in
it's
there.
like, I gotta
Dripping in the armpits.
I gotta sit out by in the winter.
Now,
I'd have taken it at the fucking ball diamond last night. I'll tell you that. Sorry for the F-bomb. Christ almighty.
Who's playing baseball? You got a slow pitch team?
Jesus.
Who's crushing dingers?
Now, what's
the kid, the daughter, sitting out there.
Multi-sport star.
Fellas, there is water now falling from the sky to go with the hurricane-like winds. There's just like dust balls like going through the infield. Like,
yeah.
They're 13. Can we wrap this up? Sorry,
Gotta get a megaphone. Wrap it up.
Let's go.
I'm ordering you a megaphone right now.
And you know what happens is when you're hot for like talking there, it's just going to lead to swass. Is what it's going to happen, because then you get kind of the lower back, the kind of sweat in the middle of your back there, and then
like that. Here's the thing, though, Dino. This is not a photo from yesterday. This was from the winter in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
He's at the rink. This is perfect. Finally, someone's listened to Rhett about wearing clothes that make sense. None of these suits and nonsense. Well, Snuggy
out on the bench.
Not on the bench. No, he's not. They're not quite there yet.
I'm a better coach when I'm comfy.
I think we all are. What's uncomfortable in Vancouver is that he said no thanks to being one of the highest paid coaches in the NHL on a new deal. And that means the Canucks will be on their fourth head coach in less than 4 years.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whatever.
The fourth head coach in less than 4 years.
So who were the other three?
Well, there was Boudreau.
Tocchet, Boudreau,
prior to
and Travis
Green. They got a Willie Mitchell or Willie Desjardins as a while ago, though. Yeah, it's number 4 is coming in here. Hoof. Not ideal. And now remember, they had the incredible year last year. Lindholm went there. The All-Star game. Look at the All-Stars. They're all in Toronto, Dean.
Jeez.
Oh, boy. Tocchet gone. Lindholm gone.
And look at Quinn. Get me the phone.
Yeah, that's JT Miller gone. Besser, you're next year UFA. Demko, you're a UFA the summer after that. Quinn, you're the UFA the summer after that. And you've talked about openly playing with your brothers. They're in New Jersey. Elias Pettersson will be there, though, Dean. Yeah, that's one thing we can count on. There's $11.6 million salary.
How many watts do you want for your megaphone, Dean?
Yeah, how many watts, Dean?
30 or 50?
40?
What was it? What was it in Back to the Future? Gigawatts, or what was it? Make sure it's lots.
High wattage.
Ooh,
yeah,
75.
That's a lot of wattage. So you, with all this news yesterday breaking, you can imagine probably just a really normal day to be in the sports talk industry regarding the Canucks. Let's just jump in and see what they're talking about.
He clearly wants to play with his brothers. He's going to leave to play with his brothers anyway, when he becomes a free agent. Again, we're just going in theory here. If you're the Devils, how high up the ladder do you climb in players that you're looking to trade for Quinn Hughes now, that you're willing to part with, that are going to make your team worse as you make it better with the acquisition of Quinn Hughes? When you start getting into the Heischer and Bratt territory, I think it gets a little dicey, doesn't it? As far as a trade for Quinn Hughes. Yeah.
So this is the sheet with Jeff Merrick yesterday. They're already talking about potential packages the Devils are going to use to get Quinn.
Yeah, but why the F with the Devils?
And that's their point, is like, you kind of have the Canucks by their balls here. You might not even get the haul you think you're going to get.
Now, and the other question I have, I hate my brother. He is a pain in my ass.
My brother
Why
hates
do
me.
we think that these brothers want to hang out together all the time?
That makes sense to me.
Dean, would you hang out with your brother? Oh.
Play the music.
It would just purely be a guess, being that I have no siblings. However, if I were to guess, no, I would not.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Interesting. So yeah, it's been a really rational, level-headed bit here in Vancouver.
Unless the Canucks, they go and get the other two. No one's talking about that.
Jim mentioned
it. They probably would want
Rutherford
to.
said it live, right in a press
Quinn's been Wisniewski.
Wait till you meet this coach, brothers. Come on,
Merrick. You need to shift your focus.
Hey, how about Pedersen for one of those Hughes boys?
How about it?
What do you think?
Why don't you take this guy that had a horrible year and give us one of Quinn's brothers?
Quinn's body language looked good down the stretch too when he was hurt and playing 90 minutes a night.
Yeah. Back to you, Ryan.
Back to you.
Thanks, guys. Well, let's get to the Ted Lindsay nominees. I know you were excited about these getting announced.
Oh, Ted.
Like I've said all along, I appreciate the NHL sprinkling these out over.
Stretch it out, guys.
God, this is good because every day I wake up and I wonder what award do I get to find out?
Yeah, well,
today
it's the Ted Lindsay. Now, Rhett, tell us what the Ted Lindsay's about.
That is the award for the player voted to be the best by the players.
That's right. It's the players voting on the players. No stinking Oilers. Just a
Jack
couple
is
labs.
Stunned that I know that. He's absolutely stunned.
I
he
know
put me up in the corner thinking that he was gonna embarrass me. I was gonna have some bullshit answer.
Tell Jack what it used to be called. Back to me. Okay. Kucherov at 121 points this year led the league. McKinnon tied with Kucherov with 84 assists, 116 points. 3 years in a row over 110 points, and 92 for Cale Makar, the defenseman. 30 goals, first time since Mike Green did it in the double O's.
So Drysdale and McDavid aren't in this list.
No, they're not. Player voted no. I'm okay with that. I'm sure the Edmonton media will suggest there's some huge conspiracy against Carr, and it's all the players' fault.
No, I think that just speaks to the hatred that any and all in the hockey world have for the Oilers.
Outside that fan base, that's correct, Rhett.
Mm-hmm.
Back to me.
And rightfully so.
That's right. Maybe if they won one less draft lottery, people would like them more. Last night, results. Let's take a peek. We had one series close, as you noted, Dino. Carolina storms back from 3-0 to win the series. Storm Surge, they're on to round 2. They'll get the winner of Washington, Montreal. The Sens turning up the heat, or at least turning up the lack of sleep for the Leafs here moving forward, getting right into the scar tissue there.
Travel just a killer in that series.
They're taking the train or the horse-drawn carriage. Minnesota, Vegas went to overtime after Minnesota looked like they found a game winner. It was overturned with an offside ruling after they looked at it for a kick. Damn it. And the Oilers absolutely decimated the Kings, who should feel shame. They really should. Had chances early.
You had our love, LA.
You really screwed us.
I hate LA. California, but LA, you had my love.
You're making us
hats. I feel like we're done with the harmonica ladies too now, right?
Lachlan makes a good point here, Dean. The Kings leading in Game 3 feels like an eternity ago.
Does Lachlan?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Where is Lachlan? That's a lovely.
He's in the crease.
Is he in the net there? Oh, he's in the crease. Okay, I thought it was the avatar. Is the Okanagan? What are we?
Tons of views.
So many. Clipped it early.
Thanks, Jack.
Lachlan. Great tweet.
Appreciate that, Jackie boy.
He does like that, eh? Tonight's games. Fine, Dean. Fine.
That doesn't even count the views that we're getting here. Like, this is so many views.
They won't count those. Yeah. So
that's not
tonight's
game.
First team through, and tonight's games. Here we go. Canes get the winner of that first game. That series, at least. Could be as soon as tonight. Caps are back at home. Where's our confidence-ometer, or the confidence-o-meter for the Habs to push it back to the Bell Center?
Low.
What?
Low. Okay. Low confidence or high confidence in the Habs?
It's hard to have high confidence.
Yeah, it would be.
It's a possibility.
Jack?
Yeah, they're done.
Okay, thank you. Tampa, this is tough. There's going to be a 2-game suspension that will have to be served by Aaron Ekblad for his forearm shiver on Brandon Hagel. He's going to miss the game tonight. So will Ekblad. It's been a nasty series, but we'd like it to be a long series. This has kind of been disappointing. Come on, Tampa, pull your socks up. 5:30 puck drop Calgary.
Liked this series with all the expectations.
I know. We need it to get better, which means we need a Tampa win tonight.
No haggle? Did you say no haggle?
No haggle. No haggling.
Yeah.
And no Ekblad, obviously, for the next 2. He would return for a theoretical game 7 if they get there.
No Stamkos either tonight for Tampa. So
notice that. Hasn't hurt them a lot this year. Also didn't. Yeah. And the Blues, we'll see if they can make it 3 in a row or if this is a full homer series, 5 in a row, because it's looked very different the last couple in St.
What
Louis.
a game. What drama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Woo. Speaking of the Canes, they got some business done with Taylor Hall. It's been a nice fit. He's the forgotten piece of the Rantanen deal. They got him at half money, thrown in from Chicago, who ate salary along the way. Actually, he's at full money.
What the hell you doing? That tells you how worried they were about New Jersey.
New Jersey? Like, yeah, this is going to wrap itself up here, but
I see.
Taylor, can we get some?
It's a freaking
second intermission. Just sign here, okay?
The GM's got nothing to do.
3 and change, a really nice cap hit. He gets the 3 years.
So they keep him for 3. Stankoven's been really quite good for them.
Yep,
it worked out. Seems to have worked out.
It might be the win-win-win. If Dallas can get, they get him Rantanen locked in, they get the best player in the deal. The Avs are getting Rantanen-like production from Natchez at a fraction of the price and 1 more year at low money. And there's no way on earth you could have traded Jack Drury and Marty Natchez for Stankoven, 2 firsts and Hall. Every team could kind of win this thing, which is really rare in a deal.
It's true.
Back to me. Gavin McKenna's still good at hockey, guys. Still. He extended his point streak to 52 games with 3 assists last night, including the OT winner.
Oh, settle down, Lethbridge.
They were down early, were the Tigers, excuse me, but Tiger Cats haven't started yet.
Bob Obilovich doing a great job with Medicine Hat.
Davis Sanchez with the interception. 131 points in those 52 games.
Great tape job there, too, from Gavin.
Nope. God.
Who the hell are you to judge?
It's working for him.
What? Oh,
it's working for him. Yeah. They're going to be back at it tonight for game 4 in Lethbridge. It can be a sweep there.
Oof.
It's your semifinals. Goosh in the Western Hockey League. It'll be game number 3 tonight for Spokane and Portland. Just feels like Gavin's getting ready for the Memorial Cup right now, doesn't it?
It's getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
I said it yesterday, and they don't even have their best center. Well,
Caden Lidstrom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because McKenna's kind of more of the winger, you know.
What?
Let's go to
Nobasha.
Nobasha.
Is he back?
I don't know. We got to look at that. That's a good question.
Oh, you keep going. I'll look it up. Don't get distracted.
Get looking, buddy. Get looking. Stampeders draft, CFL draft yesterday.
Yeah.
The CFL draft. The Stamps had picked 1 and 8 because BC's a bunch of stinking cheaters, went over the salary cap. So the Stamps got a second first rounder. Damian Alford, you're big. You played at Utah, but you really didn't play there. But you played at Syracuse the years before that, and you run quick. Welcome to town, buddy. 0 catches this season, but was very good with Syracuse before his transfer to Utah. They also had another first rounder, Christopher Fortin at UConn. I believe this gentleman tips the scales at 6'4", 303.
Oh, hey.
You can take
That's an O lineman. Not bad. Get in behind him and you'll be all right.
Nice work, Dave.
How about Davey?
Thanks for coming on, Dave.
Yeah. And I don't believe anyone prank called these guys like
what was I
Shadur.
supposed to be?
Gavin or Bash. Cavalry FC was in action last night. Canadian Championship, the tournament that pits teams from different leagues against each other to crown a Canadian champion. This is their opening round matchup. Let's watch the corner kick here for Matco Field. He's in.
And it's in the back of the net.
Lovely header, Rhett. Watch this. Oh, back
Hey.
Oh,
Easy now.
Geez,
what? I've seen some punters and kickers hurt themselves acting out like that. I don't recommend it at all.
Yeah, that's
like me when I was walking my dog and the hit the
right. Not when you fell on the
patch
ice.
of ice. Yeah.
Is your dog okay, Dean?
TBD.
Yeah. T's and P's.
Yeah.
Everything's all right. Let's pick it up later on. This was an absolute rout because the Scottish team from Edmonton, not good, and Cavalry FC, well, very good. I think that made it 5-0. It would end up 6 rip. This is League One Alberta, not as good as the CPL is what we're learning. Let's take a peek at the old final score here. It was a feel-good spot for the Cavs beating up on a lower-level team. Six Rip's pretty good. And, yep, that's the photo I'd use too.
That was me. Yeah, right there.
That was Steve walking his dog.
AirPods fell out of my ears. Dog kept walking. Couldn't get up.
Probably fun to have 6 different goal scorers in one soccer game. Very good, fellas. They will
fun for the other guys too.
Here's the bracket. Let's take a peek. You can see the bottom. No, that's not true at all. The top, second, third. Look in there. You'll find them. Calgary FC beats Edmonton Scottish. They'll move on to face the winner of Pacific and Vancouver, 2 CPL sides. And then if you could beat that club, you probably get the Whitecaps. Oh, baby.
So is this regular season? Like they just started and this is already a tournament? What's going on?
That is correct. This is a Canadian Championship, which is not regular season games, but they play this tournament in season. Which
so it's not regular season, Jack. It's totally different from the league.
So it's Canadian Championship. You have MLS teams, League One teams, CPL teams. If you're in Canada.
Why is it Atletico Ottawa?
Because they're owned by Atletico Madrid, who are Spanish. Although
so Forge and Halifax are from the same league, and Cavalry and the Scottish are from different leagues. I'm guessing that Scrosapi is not.
Yeah, that's League One Ontario.
Yeah.
And Laval is from League One, Ligue 1, Quebec. So again, it's a national. This is what every country on earth does with soccer. They allow you teams from different leagues to play each other, and you crown champ. Kind of fun because you can say, "Hey, we beat the Whitecaps," even though they're spending $8 million on players and we're spending 1, like Cavalry did in year 1. Either way. Next match, likely Pacific or Vancouver. Certainly it will be one of those teams. Okay, next, let's go. Final thing, one thing, dumb thing, to close the Pinder Report. Golfing downtown.
Oh, shit! Yeah.
It's Jack and his buddies. Not ideal.
What?
I don't know.
The youth, Dean, I don't know.
Is that a youth? Let's slow that down.
Doesn't look too youthy.
Yeah,
there's buffoons in their 20s, like Jack.
Yeah, but that guy's bald, isn't he?
It's an aggressive hairline. That's not his fault.
Yeah.
Probably his mother's father that gave him that.
He's got a big grade 10 final exam in the morning. He's home studying.
No, he's just got 6 lippies
he's got
in.
A bad stance,
too.
Yeah, taking care of that male pattern baldness.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this?
Is that Marta Loop, Jack? Where was it? I didn't see the roads under
there's
construction.
no way that's Marta Loop.
Yeah, it's got to be downtown.
Could be the plus 15. Yeah. How do you get a tea time?
Feels good to laugh.
Oh,
yeah.
Keeps you young, Dean. Back to you.
Back to me. So, okay. That's the Pinder Report brought to you by Village Honda, where they got CRVs out the yinger. VillageHonda.com, located in the Northwest Ottawa. To find out more. Yep. Yeah. You know what you should be doing with all these playoff games and stuff? Heading over to Richmond's.
You're just there, yeah.
Richmond's Pub. You were talking about Cinco de Mayo today, Wednesday. It's Mexi Mania Retro. Taco special over at Richmond's today. Plus all the games on the screens. Game audio in the, but you don't need to. Excuse me. I know you're playing Bananarama, but could we get the hockey game audio? I know we're a big fan of the song Venus, but could we hear the play-by-play? You don't need to do that there. Richmond's Pub, sports live here. 3919 Richmond Road in the heart of Glamorgan. They got the Barn Burner Blonde cans going there, and there's a vibe. It's
big Gamesville right there.
It's always going at Richmond's. Great partners of ours. Look forward to getting back down there. Eating my face. I'm starving today. We've been talking about food.
Let's get moving.
Glennon with his groceries and stuff. What's he doing? Coming in here talking about food.
He's talking about meatballs, you jerks.
And the other thing I'm going to make a just we can move past this quickly, just as an observation. He takes up all our time to talk. He won't shut up.
Oh man, it's
God.
He's a different dude. Goes on vacation, just wants to talk. I'll talk to him, but you want me to call? I'll call him.
Wow, yeah. Like there's a segment.
Yeah,
it's not your show.
I know it's YouTube and the internet, and we don't have time constraints, but at the same time, I'm gonna need you to dial back a little bit because people want our opinions. They want to hear from us.
Yeah.
You have your own show. Save it for O-Dog and Hazy. That's who's still doing
Hazy.
that.
Baker.
Men,
What?
good news, bad news.
Uh-oh.
The good news is there's still time. The bad news is
Not much.
Down to the wire.
It's the Service Big Share Contest. Today is the final day. Contest ends April 30th, 2025. Skill test required for rules. Visit service.ca/win. What is it? Well, it's the Big Share Contest, and it's a chance for you to win $1 million by saving money with Service Credit Union. Become a member. Start saving money. It's not too late. Go there today. Do it right now. Unless you're listening to this tomorrow. It's too late. But if it is April 30th, wherever you are right now, become a member and start saving, and you will become eligible for the $1 million grand prize. TFSAs, RRSPs, GICs, get that paycheck set up for automatic deposit. Thank you, Service Credit Union, for being a partner of ours, and of course for $1 million.
Someone's gonna win $1 million.
Changing someone's life.
Tax bill probably today. Go win the $1 million. Pay that shit off.
That's right. Changing lives. Thank you, Service Credit Union. I guarantee you there's one near you because they're everywhere.
It's truth.
Service.ca/win. Yes, sir.
Zerp. Going to be the Calder Trophy tomorrow, Red. I know you're behind the scenes on all these trophy releases.
Well, again, back to Noodles bragging about he's a voter. I vote, but I don't have to tell people about it.
Do you vote, Red?
Go figure. He and voted for a goalie.
Yeah, shocker.
Yeah, real stunner there, James. 3 games tonight. St. Louis at Winnipeg, Montreal at Washington, Florida at Tampa Bay. It's exciting. It's playoffs, but you know how you crank it up just a little bit? So some Bet365. Get in on the action for the Stanley Cup playoffs. At Bet365, they got you. Game props, player props, totals, and the money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, the Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app. Get in on the game. Official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older.
Let's take a little look at what's going on here. I don't want to wish any harm on the Winnipeg Jets, but it has not looked close.
You're such a...
The last couple has been a lot of Winnipeg not looking good. A lot of the Blues looking really good. Plus 155 doesn't make sense to me. This felt like this should have been more of a coin toss. It ain't. So I'll take advantage of that. And look, who's staving, Dean? Who's staving tonight? Tampa's staving.
Okay.
That's right.
At home.
Staving at home. So I'm going to parlay the stave. Kucherov, Gensel, Point. You following me now with the staving and the Tampa?
Got it.
What plus 145? All those things happen. A parlay in Tampa.
You're trying to manifest this stave. You want the series to.
Well, the other thing is like I just Nikita Kucherov to get like a single points like minus $1 billion, so you really need to juice it up with some other things happening. So it happens when you get 121 points in the year,
right?
When you're up for the Ted Lindsay,
the old Head Tinsley, Head Tenley. Bet365. Be 19 or older. Get the app and get in the game with Bet365.
Never ordinary, Dean.
Yeah. So predictions, what do you see, Retro? Montreal needs a win. The Lightnings need a win.
I think 2 series end tonight.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And the thing with my stave parlay, all those things can happen, and Florida can still beat you pretty.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. And what about this Jets Blues thing?
I'm going to find it hugely interesting if the Jets go on to soil themselves and they have to once again go.
In Nikolai Ehlers' walk year.
Bye.
President's Trophy winners.
Yep. That curse, huh?
Everyone loves playing here. It's great. If only Edmonton could have soiled themselves and the Jets, then there'd be a lot of damage control going on.
Yeah.
Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg.
Toronto's going to be in there.
Meanwhile,
Conroy and ownership management, they'd be sitting here in Calgary going,
things just rosy here.
Look at us.
What's the problem? We're getting a new rink.
We didn't shit ourselves in the playoffs. You guys did.
Yeah.
See how many points we had? We got screwed if we were in the East.
Nobody here wants out. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Weeks got the new building on the way.
Fine, we'll take Hughes.
Rasmus
play here.
So happy. Yeah.
Oh, here they come.
Super chat. Little super chat for you.
Supers.
Little money today for the youth centers of Calgary. It's not a ton, but we'll take it. Couple generous folks out there. Totes for charity, $27.99. Let's go oil.
Ooh,
for the kids at the YCC.
Right
Snuck that in there, eh? We saw that.
So you look talking about the WTI. Yeah.
Can we
Differential
turn that into U.S. funds instead of Canadian? Really kind of soak it to totes for charity. Anyway, thanks for the donation.
Totes.
Handsome Dan. 10 Beanerinos. Rhett, if you were in the room, what would you say to the Leafs to snap them out of their playoff demon funk? Pep talk time. Also, I'm worried I jinxed the Kings.
You're not alone, Handsome Dan.
I feel like we all have some ownership in this Kings, like we're all coaches.
But I do think it's still more Byfield and Hillier than us.
None of us were making that challenge. None of us were.
Oh God, no.
And then the chance, I would say, fellas. Come on.
Yeah.
We're better than this. That's what I'd say.
Okay.
It would work.
Is that what you said to the Blades and against the Hitman there when they
got we're going to bend by way well, Brian.
Right.
I had a lot of cliche, really good
cliches. Were they like trying not to laugh, or were
they were laughing at me? I knew two of the kids and I caught their eyes and they were dying inside trying not to.
Yeah.
In the eye.
Do you kick over the Gatorade and upset the tables in the pregame speech?
What?
Well,
damn it!
I should have maybe. It might have
Zambo.
It was going to help.
Haven't even sung the anthem yet. How are we in this much shit?
How do you do something stupid like this?
Thank you, Handsome Dan. Appreciate that. He's been a very good.
Appreciate Danny. Oh,
Ben von Muhldorfer. Huge shout out to big fan of the show, Max von Muhldorfer, for being drafted by his hometown Calgary Stampeders last night in the CFL draft.
We were talking about this last night.
Max,
That boy Max, what?
That boy Ben for shouting out Max.
Yeah. I mean, it's great as his stamp, but he's a big fan of the show. I like that a lot.
That boy Benny.
Now, are they brothers? Do you think they hang out?
It's a very common name. Why do you assume they're brothers?
Muhldorfer?
Yeah. Kind of presumptuous. Yeah.
Rogers. That Muhldorfer?
Yeah, Smith. So there you go. Little dough for the kids. Love it. Tomorrow, Thursday. React to the games from tonight. Get ready for the games tomorrow night.
Continue your Cinco de Mayo
countdown. Yeah.
So figure out what day.
Also, it's May tomorrow, Dean.
Shh.
Yeah, it is.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
You got me there. Touche, my friend. Not sure there's any coming back from that.
No, that's probably it.
Egg on my face. Does at Bonton, did they serve up any crow? Because I'm ready to eat some after that.
But you just can't.
You just got to know when. You got to know when enough's enough, and you just got to tap out, rather than drag it out.
Kenny
Yeah.
Rogers.
Timing. Leave on top, Dean.
Just like tap out when it's time, you know?
Don't drag it on at all.
No, just move on. Just press the button.
Anytime now.
Go on with your day.
And we're done here. He's taking off his earphones.
I didn't press it. Jack, you